Are we live? I think we are live. What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be putting this Rockler T-Track into my shop table, as well as showing off my new lights, my new camera, things like that. Let's see if we can't get chat pulled up on the TV here. Let's see. Maybe. Try and pull it up on the TV so I can actually see everybody. Need to clean up some of this mess, and then we're gonna figure out. I got a attachment for the router to put it on my Traxol tracks. So hopefully we can cut a straight line to put our T-Tracks in. We're gonna find out. I haven't really messed with any of it yet. We'll see if we can do it today, or if I'm gonna have to get a different router bit or something weird. Watch as guest. Let's see, can we hear it? Can we hear it? Do we have audio? Oh, God. Let's see if we can watch ourselves on the TV. What's up, Steve? What are you up to, man? Making sure everything's working here. Dealing with a lot of new stuff in here. What's up, Mrs.? Alright, seems like it's working. So now... Now, can we... Can I just open the chat if I'm watching a stream? Is that a thing? Nope. You can turn it on. Turned 3 tool handles today on my live. Heck yeah, what are you turning handles for? Chisels? I need to make me some halfway decent chisels. Really don't like those ugly red plastic handles that come on them. I need to set up a link with Nightbot here too, because I'm putting out new merch pretty much all week. I've got one new t-shirt in the shop right now, along with just like the company shirt. I think there's like a coffee mug in there. There's some stickers in there. There's a link in the description to the Etsy store now. Carbide turning tools. Dude, I just got some. Strong Ink, dude, they seem to be taking care of everybody right now. Everyone. I've heard like 5 people in the past month that said that they're dealing with Strong Ink now. Apparently a pretty good company, from what I hear. Let's see, let's get some of this stuff put up. If you haven't used Natura One Coat, I highly, highly, highly suggest it. It's a hard wax oil, like what Rubio is, but it's like a third of the price. What's up? Is that Tom? Man, I need a bigger TV. I can't hardly even see it from over here. I'm doing great, man. Just picking up some stuff, and then we're gonna get a little bit of work on the work table in. Needs some serious organization. But I also just went and looked at a garage. So we're going to be moving all of this stuff to a new shop here in like a few weeks probably. So I'm not going too crazy about cleaning everything up. It is what it is. But let's get some of this stuff picked up and moved here. I am taking the work table with me, so we're going to go ahead and put these T-tracks into the work table. Dun, 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 dun. Finally getting everything set up. I got this new AI tracking camera. Seems to be working pretty good. It's following me around the shop. Let's get all this stuff put up. Shop is a mess right now. I just finished a new video of some walnut end tables. And I haven't picked everything up yet. This is for the next video. It's going to be a waterfall end table. So it's going to get cut about right here and mitered so that when we set it on the stand, you'll have the table top. You'll have the table top that's, you know, somewhat rectangle, mostly square, but then the front's going to have a waterfall off the front edge. Should be pretty sweet. Yeah, buddy. How much was the tracking camera? Steve, I've got a link in the description that has the same exact one that I bought. I think it was like $100. What's going on, Creating? How are you tonight? Yeah, buddy. Got it going on a Monday night. Let's keep picking this stuff up so we can get going on this table before it gets too late. If you guys like the music and you want to play it while you're hanging out in your shop, there's a link that shows up in the chat every now and then to my Suno playlist. I actually made all the songs on here. It's like an AI music generation software. Pretty cool stuff. Let's see, let's just throw all this stuff over here for now and then we'll deal with it tomorrow. Probably not, but maybe. So I'm going to make a mount for this camera. Right now it's on a tripod over here. I'm going to put it on a mount that's over on this wall. And my lathe is going right here on top of these cabinets. So that way if I'm working over here, it'll track over here. If I'm working on the lathe, you can actually manually set it and lock it. So I can just point it from up top down to the lathe and lock it on top of the lathe while I'm working on it. And I don't know if I'll get that set up while I'm here or if that'll be set up in the new shop, but got some lathe work coming soon. Give me just a second. I can't see the chat right now. Trying to get some of this stuff moved. So I've got the work table cleared off. Could have done this before stream, but who's organized? I'm not. Okay. That's pretty good shape. Streaming software, Steve, I'm using OBS Studio. It's what I've used for a long time. I used Streamlabs when I first started. That was like 5 years ago. But I'm using OBS Studio. It's a lot to set up, but once you get it set up, you know what I mean? You just set up your stream, set up your title or whatever, and then you go live. When you're done, you stop streaming. It doesn't ever go away. It saves by your profile. And then if you're transferring from one computer to another, you can use a thumb drive, and you can take your entire setup and save it to a thumb drive, so that when you get to your other computer, all you're doing is plugging in your thumb drive, and then OBS will just load your profile off of that. Alright, put the sander up. Okay. Let's dig out this T-Track. See what it does. Didn't have good internet in the shop at the time. This is an Ethernet line from where the router is in the house. I actually ran it up into the ceiling, all the way across the attic, across the entire house, down on the other side of this wall, and then it comes through this wall so that my computer is plugged, you know, hardwired directly into the modem itself. Because with Wi-Fi, it wouldn't do anything. It wouldn't load enough to actually even run the stream. These came with, it's really cool. So when I went to Rockler, a T-Track on its own was $40 for just the T-Track. But then they had these sets that were on sale, and one came with all these different T-Track accessories. So like, you know, bolts and knobs and everything, so you can make your own little wooden jigs and stuff for them. And then this set came with 2 T-Track clamps, which I really need. So I'm putting these in the table so that I can put my slab flattening jig on this table. It's 8 feet long, 4 feet wide. So, you know, pretty much as big of a slab as you want. You can put it on this table and you can flatten it. But I need T-Tracks so that I can put clamps on the table to hold them down and keep them from shifting around. Anytime they shift, even like a 1/4 inch, it can throw it off, and it'll throw your entire cut off. And you're basically starting over, trying to get perfectly flat again. But this came with these 2 clamps, and these clamps on their own are like $15 a piece. So $30 worth of clamps. I paid $30 and it came with the $40 T-Track. And I was telling the guy there, I was like, you know, why would anybody in their right mind pay for just the T-Track? Like, even if you don't need the accessories, just get them and tuck them away in a cabinet somewhere. Run a buried cable to the house. I feel that. So I think I'm getting ready to have a shop in my backyard. Once I do that, it's like a 14 by 36 shop. So once I do that, I'm going to be burying power and an Ethernet line, both running out to the shop, because I know that Wi-Fi is not going to make it, you know, halfway across the backyard after it gets out of the house and into the shop and all that. So probably going to be a lot of work, but worth it, right? Okay, so my table's got a couple 2x4 supports running widthways. And since this is going to cut into the table, how deep is that? Like 3/8 of an inch, maybe? I'd like to do it right next to where these 2x4s are underneath, because that's going to take out a good chunk of my tabletop. And then that way, yeah, that removes about half of my tabletop, but then that way there's at least a 2x4 supporting, you know, right underneath where I'm cutting this out. It's not going to make it all wonky in the center there. Because the other thing with using this to flatten slabs is this table where it sits right now is perfectly level and it's perfectly flat. So I need it to stay perfectly flat when a slab is on there. Otherwise, you'll end up with a bowl cut or a hump cut through the center of your slab. Ugh. I need 7 Brew to go ahead and just sponsor me already so I can start getting these drinks for free. That'd be sweet. That would be sweet. So I'm thinking something, you know, something right like that. We could go one here and one. Make sure we're dodging these screws so I'm not trying to run my router through some screw heads. We could run right about right like that. And then that allows me to get clamps on either side. And so with the T-bolts, with the knobs, you can make a wooden block so that the T-bolt goes through the bottom block, or the bottom of the block, into the track, and you just tighten that down, and you pull your slab to the block, and then you actually use your T-track clamps to clamp one side. So you're actually just kind of pressure clamping it to that block that's on the other side. Bring me a 7 Brew drink home, pretty please. What do you want? I'm bringing you an energy drink. It's going to be like 9 o'clock by the time I come home. I don't know if I'm even going to have time to do this. Honestly. I've been here like 11 hours now today. I'm almost ready to go home. But that'll be nice. So that way I can, like I said, clamp one side and block the other side. And I don't have to worry about them moving. So let's get these measured out and marked, so I know where they're gonna go here. The purple one, an energy drink? You're gonna be up all night. So that's 29. Let's go 29 and a half. That's right there. Ugh. 29 and a half. Where's 29 and a half on this side? Golly, I was only an eighth of an inch off. So we need to mark both sides. Get our pencil sharpener out here. Do 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 do. That. Get this side marked right like that. we come 29 and a half over here is right there. 29 and a half on that side. Right there. That thing's pretty good at tracking, huh? Pretty sweet. I like where these tracks are at too, because I don't have to slice and dice through the logo that took me an entire day to paint on top of the work table. Okay, so that's where they're gonna go. That blue is gonna look nice on the table too. I really like that anodized blue. Anybody that's not subscribed, make sure you subscribe and that number will go up. That is a live count of how many subscribers the channel has right now. Trying to get to 500 as soon as possible. And then after 500, we're going to skip right on to 1,000. We're going to skip 6, 7, 8, 9. Go right to 1,000. So, I've got... Let's see, what do we have here? At least take a look at what we've got. And then maybe when I come back in the morning, we can cut these guys in. I don't know if I'll have time to actually cut them in tonight, but we can get everything set up anyway. Let's see, what do we got in here? So this is the PowerTech Traxol guide router adapter thing. Traxol router guide adapter thing is what this is. That looks like it's got a film you're supposed to remove. Sure does. I figured being plexiglass. Ooh, that's nice. Oh, that's satisfying. Come on. Very nice. Throw that out. I have no idea how this thing works. I've never used one of these in my life. We're gonna see if we can figure it out though. How does this attach to this? Okay, right? Yeah. Okay, right? So these go up under here, like that, and like that. And then this attaches right there, like that. And then we probably need some kind of a screwdriver or something, huh? What's up, Ryan? How you doing tonight, man? You working on some new content, dude? I know you said you were looking at switching into more long-form videos now. I just threw a short up today that is hilarious. Sister caught me playing around on an exercise bike that's way too small for me. Let's grab a screwdriver. Follow me over here. Hey. It's doing its job already. Okay, so this guy needs this guy. And this goes on there. God damn, that is nice. That is going to be sweet. So, now we've got... Uh-oh. I had to say something. Come on, camera. Come on. This way. Come on. Come on. This way. Let's go. It listens sometimes. What's up, Billy? Amy? How's everybody doing tonight? Building as we speak. That is dope, dude. Heck yeah. Dude, there's some back and forth, right? I've been in the whole social media content creation thing for like 5 years now. I love streaming. It's where I started. I think streaming is great. But I think in the woodworking space specifically, it says a lot to form and short form video. I know my channel's tiny, so it's hard to, credit what I'm talking about. But I've also grown to where I'm at in 4 months. You know what I mean? And I think that's the way to go. I think streaming is incredible for things like watch hours. It'll bring you a good amount of subscribers if you do it right. But as far as the evergreen, the lasting viewership that you're supplying your channel with long form video, I mean, you can't beat that. Like, look at guys like Blacktail. There's people watching his videos from like 6 years ago, and he's pumping out ad revenue from 6 years ago. What's up, Jack? How you doing, man? Your mic. Can you hear everything? I didn't really check the audio at all before I went live. Looks like it might be peaking just a hair. I don't know. Let's see. Aha. That might be better. Okay, so we've got our Traxall guide, and I've got a router adapter here. So this guy, I think that's just a hair too tight. See if we can loosen it just a pinch here. No sound. Why is there no sound? It's showing sound on my end. Loud and clear. I'm showing sound on my end. Try resetting the stream and see if that fixes it. Good now. Alright. I got you. So let's loosen this up just a hair. I want to really fine tune this because if I get all of this set up correctly, it's going to give me like a super clean cut for these tracks, and they should just fit right into the slots like a glove. First time I've messed with one of these, but it's supposed to work. It also said that it's made for my specific router, so we're going to see if that's true as well. What's going on, soldier? Welcome in, welcome in. Ooh, that is nice. Okay, now that this is set up, let's grab the router. Camera will follow me over here. You guys can see how messy the shop is right now. It's normally at least mildly organized. So let's go plunge base. I've got plunge and fixed. And to anybody doing large table work like I do, I highly suggest buying the entire kit versus buying one or the other, because I use both of them on every single table that I make. Let's see. Okay. That's it. What bit do we have in here? That's not it. Thought I still had my upcut bit in here. I guess not. So we're gonna have to change that guy out. You call that messy? Dude, for me it is. This drives me insane. It drives me absolutely insane. The shop's already small as it is, so it makes it even harder to move around and do what I need to do. And every few minutes that slows me down just drives me up the wall. Let's see if I have the right bit. I think I do. Or at least something that we can make work. What we got? God, it's a mess in here. Spiral upcut bit. This is the bit that I use for installing C channels in the bottom side of dining tables. Show you guys what bit this is here. I don't know how well that picks it up, but so that is a spiral or a fluted upcut bit. And the cool thing when you're cutting things like channels, like what we're about to do here, is it throws all of your dust up instead of packing it down into the channel, because that'll actually pack down so tight that it'll try and stop your router from cutting, which is crazy. Okay, there's that. At least put my wrenches up, because I know for a fact I'll lose those in all this. Where are we at? Okay. Now. Ah. Woo. What did I miss? What did I lose here? What did I miss? You sitting there on your tail might not make good content. Dude, you'd be surprised, man. I've seen a lot of streams of people just sitting there hanging out, and there's hundreds of people in there hanging out with them, myself included. Been watching a musical lately, Musical Mindset. Really cool dude. A lot of fun hanging out in his stream, but that's a lot of what he's doing is just kind of hanging out and chatting. 15 by 20 wood storage shed. So you're bigger than the space that I'm in right now. This is 14 by 16. And I've got a 4-foot by 8-foot table in here, along with my table saw stand that I made, which is like 3 feet by 4 feet, I believe. So it's cramped. Full of sawdust, hook up the plasma, what could go? Whatever, dude. Sometimes you just gotta send it. First shop was 4 by 8. Whoo, boy. Is that like 4 by 8 meters? 4 by 8 meters? That'd be all right. Okay. Now, how do we connect these two? There's the next question. So this goes on there, like that. But they didn't give me any freaking hardware. Should they not give you like nuts and bolts? Like this. This plate is made specifically for my router, right? So I can only hit two holes on here. That's not right. What am I missing? I'm missing something here. What holes is this supposed to go through? Like, that's crazy because those holes aren't even lined up. Which my router's holes are lined up with the plate. Look, the hole in this thing isn't even centered between the holes. And I ordered the one that's specifically for my model of router. That sucks. Now what do we do? Do we send it back or do we just try to make it work? Never mind, I'm just an idiot. It goes in these holes. Where do those... Okay, so we're just replacing the base plate that's on the bottom side of the router, which of course uses Torx screws. And I don't have a Torx bit that big. Let's see if I can use the flathead to take this sucker off. Yes, I can. Yeah, buddy. Okay. So we get the stock base plate taken off. then we can come through with their base plate. And mount it right there, like so. So Ryan, what are you going to be making content about, man? Is it going to be turning videos, or you going to build some stuff? What are you making on your channel? Surely I don't need to center this base plate, right? Because it shouldn't matter as long as my bit hits against the edge of the line that we've marked. Make sure we're mostly tight. I don't want to crack this plexiglass, but I also don't want it walking away from me on the jig. So now, when we come back to our jig, we set up on there, it'll run right down the jig, right like that. Cool. Awesome. That'll work. Okay. So, clean all this crap up, and then it might be time for me to roll out. We got everything set up though, so on the next stream we can actually install this T-Track into the table, and then we'll get the slab flattening jig out and get that all set up. I'm over here. Get all that set up, and then I've got, I believe, 4 slabs that I need to flatten. So that'll be a really, really cool stream, getting those cut. I just finished up an end table set today, this morning. So that video is going to be out really soon. Either tomorrow or Wednesday, probably Wednesday. And instead of releasing it on a Wednesday, I might schedule it to release on Thursday. But I'll post in my community tab when that video is actually going to release. And then anybody that's not in the Discord, make sure you guys get in there. I'm going to pull up a fresh link right here. Make sure you guys get in there. I've got a handful of people in there already. I'd like for everybody to get in there. And that way we can all, you know, hang out and show what we're working on. If you have any questions, if you're getting ready to like buy a new tool and you're on the fence about it and you're reading reviews, that's a great place to get in there, because somebody in there probably either has that tool or they've used that tool or they've read a lot about that tool. So it's going to be the perfect place to hang out for things like that. I'm going to try and start setting up kind of hangout nights, probably like a Friday night or a Saturday night where we can get in there and just hang out and shoot the shit and, you know, kind of chat about who's doing what, and anybody that needs help with anything can just let me know. If you'd like to set up your stream like mine, hop in there. We'll get you taken care of. But for now, it's almost 7:30. I think I'm going to rock and roll on out of here. Thanks for hanging out with me. We got our track out. We got our router set up. We got our channels marked, so that way tomorrow when we come in here, we can actually cut our channels, and get our track installed into the table, and be ready to start flattening some slabs, because I think I'm going to pick up some more tomorrow around noonish. We'll see. But I'm going to rock and roll out of here. Y'all have a good night.